Hey everyone, you know how they say that like we can get to Mars in X amount of years, but we can get there in half the time if we make like a one-way trip? Because there needs to be this group of like trailblazers that are like, we are in it 100%. We don't need to come back because we're going to terraform Mars. We're going to find a place there. We're going to get an apartment there or whatever. And I am launching all of you, the trailblazers, not to Mars, but definitely you could pick up Terraforming Mars, and it's going to be on sale because Noble Knight Spring Sale is on, and I'm not kidding, I stopped the upload of this video, recorded this, re-uploaded this video, because they just sent me the email like 10 minutes ago. They currently have 300,000 things on sale. Look at some of these things. Pendragon Core Rulebook, $30. RuneQuest Starter Set, $22. Alien Rapture Protocol, $31. Folks, I need you, all of you, those who are fans of the Man Alone channel, I need you to be the first. You're not guinea pigs because you're boldly going before anybody else. You're not. You're not guinea pigs. You're winnie figs. If you click that link below, you support the channel and could really use it right now because want to try some new things with the channel, and all of that support that you guys give me, all of it goes back into the channel and then some, because it's so fun. All this is so fun, and we're gonna have a lot of fun with this video. But my video, you could just listen to it and hop on that link below and head over to Noble Knight. Noble Knight, thank you for sponsoring this channel and for giving so many great deals. Thank you everybody for supporting me and BB, because we really appreciate it. And hop over to that spring sale. You don't want to miss this. It's gonna be like 500 days until the next spring. You know, let's start the video.
Bright flashes of silent lightning coil through the sky, illuminating distant vistas and casting long shadows of faraway figures. It is impossible to know if they see you, and so you stay vigilant through a sleepless night. As the sun rises, a haze settles on the land, concealing the unknown threats. Unlike ignorance, knowledge can never be absolute. Men do not go mad in the things they do not know, nor are women made into rag women from the things they forget. What little you saw can guide your next steps forward. Perhaps.
Hey everybody, welcome. So today we're going to take a look at the Restless, a hand-drawn cooperative survival game for 1 to 4 players by Winslow Dumaine, I presume. Just sounds like a name you have to say I presume after. Winslow Dumaine, I presume. This is something that I was on the fence about getting. I know that's a weird thing to say because it seems right up my alley, and I agree. The reason was that I think I played Iron Helm into the ground to the point that I used to play this all the time, and I was like, I had a thought that I like burned myself out on it to the point that Jason Glover's new game, which is like looks like his magnum opus, I whatever it is crowdfunded that game, and then there was an error or something he noticed. Someone pointed out to him something about the printing or something, and so he actually canceled that campaign and was like, I'm really sorry, we're going to fix this, and then restart it. And we restarted it. I had one of those difficult solo gaming conversations with myself where I was like, I really like Jason Glover. I really like these games, but I think I'm tired of these games. Um, and so this is this is not to say that the Restless is like the exact species of this. And in fact, something that Daniel from Dungeon Dive said that makes me excited is that like Winslow, it's almost like he just didn't pay attention to games like tropes and stuff for the past 10 years and then just came up with a game of like what sounds fun. And that is really exciting to me because um, you can start to see like games will, especially in a similar genre or similar thematic undertones, like they start to share DNA with each other. And sometimes that's a good thing because you're improving on the form. And other times you're like, I think I've seen this before. What pushed me over the edge and what made me decide to do it was number one, the price is just, it's unbelievable. And I calculated this. I'm going to show you like how much you get inside of this here. So this is, I don't even know how to quantify this. It's got to be hundreds of cards. I'm sure it says it on the back, but that would mean I have to lift it and I need a forklift to do that. It also includes the Tarot Restless, which apparently is a game that uh, he made prior to this. The cards look incredible, like incredible quality, and the writing looks amazing. Isn't that what they made in that movie with the aliens that we're trying to talk? The only parts of it that look pretty cheap are the tokens, which I mean, I guess is fine. That's something that I'm a little nervous about. Is like this is the health and shield system, and I don't know. I never have that good of a time with like little very lightweight tokens flopping around the table. The dice look fine. 400 cards, and uh, there's a few like I think these are the ones you can like add your own stuff. I'm not sure if they're all the way through. The art, I think it's fair to sort of draw the comparisons with Iron Helm. The art looks in some cases like directly inspired by it, although I know that it's not. But like a treasure chest, and I see something that looks roughly similar to this here. Like there there's no comparison. So Iron Helm, like the core box, is I think 175, 180 cards. Um, all of them like poker card size or playing card size, and that's $65. If you add in the iron chest, which would bring it a little closer to being the same uh, amount of contents, of course, that's not the only thing that goes into a price, right? I mean, it's what's on the cards, but so far so good, and it would bring it up to $105 for these two together versus $60 for all of this. It just is like it's awesome. It's awesome to see this. It's awesome to see this because um you just I just see, and I if you've watched my channel, I've harped on this before of like there is a funny system that determines price for things in the gaming world, and a lot of times it's hard to tell. I mean, if we were to play like the Price is Right for RPGs and board games, I think if I wasn't the one saying $1, Bob, I think I'd never win because it's like I look at this and someone says, "How much does this cost?" I'd probably say $100. I don't know. Um, but anyways, we'll see the pudding. The only thing that's like a little bit is these coins, very flimsy, thin plastic. I don't really care. I I don't like these kind of plastic chips as any sort of system of anything. And I will say I'm a little bit worried about that because these are used as health and armor. Generally, I just dislike the feel of like a lot of loose pieces around a table when I'm playing a game because if I don't keep a game fairly well organized on the table, something weird happens in my brain and I start to lose investment of it. So we'll see A, how these, how it plays out. And then B, do I really need that? Or could I get away with maybe using something like this? Um, mm, so those don't fall. So we shall see. So yeah, I mean, I think the best comparison price wise I could find is you can get 4 copies of All the Pretty Horses for $60. And I don't. It's a good book. I don't know if I'd want to read it 4 times. The other reason that I decided to go through with it was because um, I played through another game that has been getting a lot of positive attention, and that I was a bit disappointed in it. And I really want to qualify that this game, One Last Fight, I was not necessarily disappointed like that the game was bad. In fact, I think that this game um, is a really really good game for a specific type for a few specific types of situations. Namely, if you're trying to get somebody to understand tabletop role playing games, or you want to sort of split the difference with friends who are sort of like more interested in objective games where there's like a win state and a fail state, I think this is probably really good because what this game does is you create a deck of encounters. They're randomized. And there's like level 1 encounters, level 2, level 3. And then if you've ever played another game that I absolutely love, Role Player by, I think, is that Thunderworks? Yeah. Um, it is like a game where you are building up abilities and skills and equipment and stuff so that when you have a final showdown with the big bad, and there's like a couple different big bads here, you have more, if you have more insight, this is like an insight tracker, then you have an easier time fighting this boss. And so that's very, very much like Role Player. And one of the points of it is like, in addition to this sort of game system, the cards and your players and the bosses and everything, they have these moments of role playing built into it, right? And so like if we were to just pull one out of here, there are some things that everybody in the party like rolls against them, and you just look at what the icons are, and everybody who has a crown stat adds a die, etc. And um, you have success and defeat, but in addition to the cards, they'll have a question like this, like how have they defeated you before? Okay. Um, so and then there's also these kind of like campfire moments where you can go around and answer these questions. And in solo play, for me, I didn't answer any of those questions. I I'm not sure how to describe these questions, but they are of a certain tenor of like solo journaling game type questions. Like, you're fighting the demon lord, and it's like the demon lord summon all the minions of hell to face you. Before that, what inspires the demon lord? I'm like not even kidding. It like yeah, this is a great this is a great example. The necromancer, a wizard who has extended their life beyond death with profane rituals and evil magic. What purpose drives their undying wish? I don't care. I don't care. They need to go. They have to go. You don't raise the dead, not even grandma. And so that actually isn't the reason though I didn't answer them. It's because like if I'm going to play a solo role playing game, I'm going to play a solo role playing game, right? I'm going to play Ironsworn. I'm going to do Scarlet Heroes. I played Alien the other day. Like, I want that's a different type of mental investment, and the game is was hard to do that uh, for two reasons actually. The first is I I have a hard time accessing the role playing part of my brain when it's not an RPG. Like, because it activates the competitive side of me because there is objective failure states. Like, the first playthrough I died. I had two characters and they both died. And it wasn't bad, but it was when it comes down to it, you're just assembling a dice pool and trying to hit a target number over and over and over again. Um, so when I'm feeling competitive, I don't really have time for that. I just want to like see if I win, and that's definitely not a universal thing, but to me it would be like saying, "Oh, we're going to play Monopoly." And then, what does it feel like to evict the people that were on Park Place or whatever? The second thing is that this is a type of game much like index card RPG, much like mazes, where it like absconds with definitive decisions about like this is the classes that are available for the characters. This is the name of the setting. This is this is the story of dwarves in this game. It sort of does away with that and just like you don't have a dwarf in your party, you have a heavy. So it'll give you these like types. And to me, and I could see the purpose of this. Again, I think as somebody who is getting oriented to tabletop RPGs, this is such a great choice. Because it sort of splits the difference between role playing and a card based like dungeon delve. But I don't I like when games make choices. I like that because then I'm able to know that game. I'm able to know that game versus another game, and I'm able to develop uh, opinions of that. I'm able to develop uh, affinities for certain parts of the game. Like, there are games that I love that are almost exactly the same mechanically as other games that I'm like meh about just because I adore the everything about it, and even like the art and everything. It's just all designed to like I don't know who this is. I don't this is just random people that I'm putting myself in the place of, which there is a space for that. This is definitely a preference space, but when I was done playing this, it reminded me of when I went to a Metallica concert, and I just was really pumped because I loved Metallica when I was younger, and they were just so weak, man. Like, I was sitting there listening to them play like Hero of the Day, and I'm just like, how do you go from Ride the Lightning to like I'm off to find the hero? And I was so like deflated after that show. I like did an emergency stop at a music store and just bought Great Southern Trendkill by Pantera and just listened to Floods over and over again, the outro by Dimebag Darrell, and cried. But like, I just wanted something that made choices. And then I was like, you know what? I've been on the fence about The Young and the Restless by Winslow Dumaine, if you please. And I was like, I'm going to do it because $60, that's not so bad. So let's get this guy open and let's take a look through it. The instructions I'm afraid of because, well, I'm not afraid of the instructions, and that makes me afraid of them. My God, what a beautiful man. Oh my God, am I recording? Hold on. Edit. 13 minutes 12 seconds. Replace previous scene with this one and go. Yeah, the instruction booklet, it's only 16 pages, so I'm worried it's not enough. Ah, there's Winslow. I have no reaction to his appearance. Okay, so this is just the loot. not the treasures, just the loot. The treasures, now I took these out, so it might look a little sparse because these are blank ones to either create duplicates or your own stuff. That's the treasures. The encounters, which this times 2. Now, these cards that I thought were from the Tarot Restless, there's actually like a reminder card and like some special items, because what we do here is we pick like a starting sort of card from here, and then it will give us instructions on like give all characters the golden veil. So like the golden veil, you would give this. If you would take damage, you may choose to prevent all of it and deactivate this. If the damage was from chain magic, the chain does not proceed after you. The slightest intervention from radiant powers. And then there's instructions about like the first person who loses the golden veil gets a white chrism, which is another thing in here. It would be one of these. No, that's black ash. Yeah, white chrism is something else. And so I will say that I have gone from like bemused to delighted to like starting to be like, whoa, this is like something really really special here. So I hope the gameplay can be sustained. I was correct. The instructions are like, I sort of get it, because I think this is something that my brain would do, but like he spent 5 years drawing 400 cards. The rules are 15 pages, and like for instance, it doesn't even say how to set the deck. Like I don't know how many of these do I shuffle all of these? Do I take part of it and shuffle? Because right now they're in alphabetical order. I absolutely need to shuffle them because they'll also be like effects that are all stacked in a row. So like these, yeah, there's probably even more. There'll be like 9 in a row that are like you have been corrupted by this or that. And so I absolutely cannot play them like as is. And so I think I'm going to have to press pause, and yeah, we got to take out all the blank cards. I got to press pause and just shuffle these for 6 years. I think what I'll do, the most like not duplicate, but like the same cards, like I'm trying to find an example one. I counted like one that was 10 of condition cards. And so I think if I do like Magic the Gathering style, just like 10 piles for each of these, and maybe I do that twice per stack. But I guess these are like encounters. Gosh, this looks so cool, man. Unbelievable. As far as the starting characters, these are incredible. You pull out 6 and then you choose one from that. But like even the the different characters, it's just like the daughter, the Drim, who's like a wicker man. And then there's certain like types of characters, but this is exactly what I'm talking about. Yes, there are several characters who are red hand or dexterous or stout, but they're all something. They all have become something. Um, and then there's one dude, yeah, the reversed, who has like one arm gone, and because of that, you fish through the deck, and um, you find like the arm as the weapon. Oh man. And so if the reversed has it, that's the name of that character, then like it can only be um like leave the inventory by death because he's just beating people with his arm. So I don't know what these are there even sleeves for these cards, or do I have to put them in like a trapper keeper? I don't even know. These look amazing, but I'm just afraid I oh man, I'll show you one of those. I just don't want to spoil it now. All right, I guess I'm gonna just shuffle them up and then give you the highlights. See you in a year. Okay, that took forever. That took like an hour. I'm not even kidding. So I even have a card shuffler, but of course it only fits like regular playing cards. I wonder if there's a tarot shuffler. There's a device. I need it. So, for characters, I have the Sleep Lord. All characters start with 1 attack, 6 carrying weight or encumbrance, 7 health. I'll try to use, excuse me, these tokens because I did think about using like trackers from, I think it was Gloomhaven, but the reason why these tokens make sense is because they sort of track your max HP, and your HP changes a lot during the game. So you're constantly like losing and gaining HP. And so I know that I have 6, and so I lose 2, I get that. And then also they said like sometimes your max HP will increase, but it doesn't heal you any. So now I know that I have 7 total, but it's in here, and then I move it back, and then I track armor. I just wish there was a few different types. These are the reroll tokens. Again, you would just use these for them, but I took these out of this little game right here. Last chip standing. So 5 times during the game, you could do like a reroll. We have the Sleep Lord and the Halo. So an herbalist and an ominist, and I forgot how many I dealt out for that, but these are the 2 I selected. The Sleep Lord, after playing a rest card, the next encounter, loot, and treasure cards are picked from 2. So, how this goes is we have 5 realms that we go through. 1, 2. I love how like the sky gets darker on each one of these. And each of these will have specific instructions. We'll go through the first one. And then at 3 times, I could use a rest card, which will have the potential to rest, but also can have an encounter. For each realm, and there are like 30 of these. I just picked one from each. You have to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, obviously. You'll have 4 encounters. And in the instructions, I'm not sure if this is every time. It just sort of says this. They say the first one is a pick 3. So I put 2 under there. And then we'll discard the rest. Have some reminder cards right here. Dice. This is like this is 1/3 of each deck, and this is like 1/4, maybe even less of the uh, treasure deck, since that seems like it'll be like the least common. But other than that, we'll sort of figure things out as we go along. Um, it was really hard to shuffle simply because obviously there's so many cards, but also like I was shuffling them in parts, but then it was kind of you're never able to get it like perfect. We'll just have to play through it a bit because I would take say like a third of the deck and shuffle it, and then I would take a third of the deck and shuffle it, but like the deck was still segmented by thirds. So like alphabetically, for instance, I'd have like A through E shuffled up. And so in order to like create these, I took them from all over the deck. That's a good 7 minutes I talked about shuffling. And then for our starting loot or starting gear, we take a look at 6 of them, and we keep, I think it's 2. And they're pretty open about like who gets what. I chose to take 2 characters. You could take 1. You could take up to 4. If it's like if there are 4 players, you take 4 characters, and then it says if there are less than 4 players, you could take as many characters up to a total of 4. I've just noticed that when I take more than 2 characters in a game, I get kind of a little bit flustered trying to remember everything, and I miss a lot of like different mechanics and opportunities. So I took 2. There doesn't seem to be any like leveling effect with that, but we'll see. Dog shanks, broken sword, slip crook casting glove, primitive spear, petty loathstone, and knotted branch. So I'm going to see if we can like turn over the realm card before we choose that, because then it might affect what I want to take. So it says draw 6 starter item cards and pick which 4 should be which 4. These can be given to any character, and characters can have more than 1 starter item, obviously up to my encumbrance. So that will be a factor. Like this is 2. And then we have 3 rest cards, reroll. realm card and read it aloud. I'll do a nice treatment on that reading to kick us off. And then place 4 encounter cards face down in a row in the middle of the table. The first encounter of the game, is a pick from 3, so add 2 encounters on top of it. The game begins when the party reveals the 3 possible encounters to choose as their first. Pick the preferred encounter and begin. When that encounter is finished, move to the next. When all encounters are finished, move on to the realm 2. Okay. And it looks like we got the table pretty right. Not pictured the discard piles, which should be kept near their respective decks. Then okay. Keep the encounter loot, treasure decks, as well as the currently available supply of reroll counters, the bag of counters, and 3 rest cards. If possible, keep the realms nearby. All right, let's read about armor before we start. The game comes with 200 counters that can be used to track any quantifiable information in the game. First and foremost, health. Create a health bar by putting counters equal to your health above your character. As you take damage, don't discard the counters, simply move them to the right so that the counters on the left represent the remaining health. The counters on the right represent the missing health from the total, and all counters represent your max health. When a character receives a boost to their max health, simply add the counters to the right side of the line, as max health only increases the available max and does not provide healing. You can also use counters to track the health of targets or traitor gods, of which there are those 14 of those super psychedelic cards. If a character gains armor that is added directly to their character, place counters equal to their armor above their health bar. Armor on items goes on the side of the card that provides it. As armor is used, discard these counters. Characters must use armor but may choose from which source to draw. Oh, I got it. So sometimes there's armor that like is on a character directly, and then sometimes there's like group armor, I think that means. And then the only one that is a little weird again is these status effect cards. I'm not quite sure what those are, but we'll figure that out. All right. Take a sip and I will read our first encounter. All right, let's do this right. There we go. And that'll work.
You pass through a sparse forest, all things eerie, quiet, and still. As the last of the light filters through the trees, the crepuscule shadows that gather on the forest floor seem darker than usual. From their deepest points grows a confounding blackness, an inky shadow that swells and swallows the earth, traveling up the trees and over the stones. Soon, you are draped in the dark. As your eyes adjust, a new forest of white trees draped with sprawling webs of silver is revealed to you. The webs have turned the open forest into a maze of tunnels, large and small. Within the bulges of the webs, the sunken shapes of emaciated men leer out wordlessly, their waxen bodies crushed against themselves like the gathered plague dead. Starlight glints from their ashen skin. There are predators here that have made easy feasts out of mortal bodies, but your knowledge of their presence may help you fend them off. Maybe.
Cool. So what we're going to do is we're just going to flip it and dip it. This one is our first one, and it'll have 3 choices. We discard 2. Just so you know, the combat system, very simple. I actually really like this combat system. I wish it was used more. It's used in a lot of game books. But basically, this is not a modifier. This is the unarmed damage. And so 2 here will be the damage if we hit. And whether or not we hit is just based on this center number here. So that'd be incredibly hard to hit. That 13 right there is the defense die number. Uh, unless there's something that is acting upon the dice roll to modify it, it's a straight up and down roll. To get, if the defense die is 13, we have to roll 13 or higher. Now, there are some things like right here, the knotted branch. If this damages a target, add +1 to the next character's first roll of any kind. So that could potentially be an attack roll, and in which case I would modify it +1. But otherwise, you just roll. If you meet or exceed, you hit for whatever damage you have. If you don't hit, if it's a melee attack, you have to roll for dodge. So basically, you're rolling again to see if you can avoid the attack. Ranged attacks, you do not roll dodge unless you are directed to do so, which this primitive spear does make you roll dodge. But that's pretty much it. Like, you just attack. You can also attack with a spell. And then the way that the enemy attacks is if you do not connect. So it's like very abstracted, more abstracted than combat normally is. Okay. All right. So we have these three here. We have the Sorthane Stone Speaker, and you can see in the top right is like what they are. So this one would be human. Then there's beast, interplanar, and phenomena. And so I guess then the Fool's Rat or the Northwestern Lurker Trapper. So let's just take a look at the defense die numbers. So this one's the easiest, but it has a high health, 15. This one's a little harder, but has less health, and they damage for less. So that's probably my top pick. This one damages, high defense, and moderately high health. But then let's look at what happens. Gains +1 damage if all characters have less than full health. Okay, that's makes it worse. So that one's definitely going here. Um, at the start of battle, give this card +3 health for every character that has died this game. I mean, that would be terrible. It hasn't there. It would be a +0, but it's still 15 health is too much. So this guy, as long as the text isn't awful, after processing drops, put a card from the treasure deck on top of the loot deck. Okay, that's great. Treasure is like better than loot. When this card dies, the next time a character is forced, I assume that means is forced to discard a card, they may choose to keep it instead. If the card that would have been discarded had counters like armor or spell uses, consider them refilled. When this card dies, the next time a character is forced to discard a card, they may choose to keep it. So basically, okay, yeah, I see that. So here you could see there's like the little loot thing. So I bet if I beat this guy, I'm definitely going to do this. This is like the easiest one and the most beneficial. I would actually take this and keep it to activate that effect, I think. So, we are just going to roll. This could be used as ranged, which would normally have the advantage of not having to roll dodge, but it does anyways, but it would hit for 3. But then I would lose it because I'm at like throwing the spear. I'm going to lose it. It would be reclaimed as a drop. So I think I'm just going to do 2 melee attacks here. And let's just make sure if a total of 6+ health is still missing from all characters, heal all characters. All right, so that's a consumable. Um, this one, deal 1 damage to the target and add this to their drops. Right. So I'm not quite sure when that happens. We could check that later, but let's just roll. All right, so 10 Sleep Lord hits and 9. Great. So they both hit. And yeah, so after you attack, then you use as many active items as you want. So this would actually get put here as like I'd lose it, but they I wouldn't lose it. I'm losing it. So I guess all right, for this guy I'm not using chips. So 12 and then it would go to 10 because there's no armor or anything, right? and then it would go to 8, and then another -1 for the consumable that I used. All right, so then we just roll again. I should get another d20. All right, we'll do this as the Sleep Lord. And then this is the Halo. Now, interesting here is that the Ominist, when this Petty Loathstone, remember when it gets added to their inventory or to their drops, which I guess we could think of that as enemy inventory. Targets that have this added to their drops have -1 die defense to ranged rolls. So might use the primitive spear, not this time, but next time. For range, perform a range roll for 3 damage, follow with a dodge roll, and then add this to the target's drops. You know, I think I actually got that a little bit confused because it just says for combat rolls, used when attacking unarmed or with melee, if the roll is equal to or greater than the die defense, the character deals damage. If it is less, the target deals damage. I think it says you only use a dodge roll when it's specifically asked for or when the party is fleeing. And so I guess I must have gotten confused here because it says to take a dodge roll here. Now, also, in addition to the -1, if this damages a target, add +1 to the next character's first roll of any kind. So I'm rolling at the same time. If it was more than one person here, right, we would probably go in sequence. But so we have +1 for the Sleep Lord and -1 for the Fool's Rat. Poor guy. Great. So that's perfect. So we hit again here. And then, come on, Halo. Not so good. And so Halo, I guess Halo would just take that damage of 1. But my friend here would go down to 5. And then it's not +1, but it still is -1 here. So we're trying to hit 8 or more. 19 and 6. Darn. Guy got hit again. All right. That hits here. And I guess this time I'm going to go for the ranged attack. Or why would I do that? Yeah, just to put him out of his misery. No, I could hit them. I'm going to hit both. I'm going to hit both. 8 or more, 8 or more, 8 or more. Got him. Dead. You know what I did not check for is if we hit exactly the defense die, but that's okay. So my little buddy here gets taken under my care. After processing drops, put a card from the treasure deck on top of the loot deck. So that will go like this. I don't think we look at it. When this card dies, the next time a character is forced to discard a card, they may choose to keep it if the card that would have been. So you get a free refresh. And I don't think there is a line in the game that says like this is a cooperative game. This gets recharged. It is a cooperative game, so like you could show your cards to everybody and you can trade. You just cannot trade items during combat. All right. So that is that one. All right. Let's keep going down the line here. Interesting. Psycrastic Black Dog Mirage. Optional. One character rolls the d4. All characters discard a card or turn the top card of the treasure, loot, and encounter deck face up. Or the next encounter is picked from 2, or the next loot and treasure card is picked from 2. Now, if this damages a target, add +1 to the next character's first roll of any kind. I think I +1 to this roll, which I mean is really going out of the way. Oh, but Ominist can re-roll once for free. So do I want to do a re-roll or do I want to get a +1? I think I want to re-roll. Caltrop stinks. Plopped a nice 1, of course, which is I don't want to discard a card, so we're going to re-roll. God. Oh, wait a minute. Fool rat. When this card dies, the next time a character is forced to discard a card, they may choose to keep it instead. If the card that would have been discarded had counters, consider them refilled. Too bad I didn't take off any counters here. But that's only one character. That's only one character. So, dang, man. This is really hard because I like all these. I think we got to probably use the Petty Loathstone. Stupid dog. All right, well, that's that one. I think I don't. You feel darts of pain zip through your brain. In the distance, a black dog is focused intensely on you, sending ciphered visions of the future. Very cool. Anointed Conferous Trader. That's an image. My new phone background. Pay one counter and create a trader's inventory by drawing 2 loot and 2 treasure cards. The party can sell their items for reroll counters and trade the counters for the trader's items. Discard the trader's other items on leaving. If the party has no weapons and there is a weapon available in the trader's inventory, you may take one weapon for free. And a silver tongue gets extra. So here's a question I have, like, do I pay counters from anywhere? Yeah, guys, this is so if I mean, I'm really reaching here because I'm so thoroughly impressed with this game, but I would say 2 areas that could use improvement. These just and it's not even like I don't mind tokens that much, but they're so like I know like I'm not being greedy. It's like $60 for 800 cards, but I'm saying like I would almost rather have cardboard than these or something. I don't know. Or like a dice, like I think it would be good to just have a dice tracker or something. Maybe he thought about a couple different like options and settled on this. Whatever. It's not that big of a deal, but it's just like it's I don't know. They're something about like these feel like they're just gonna stay. These feel like I'm gonna push them here and then they're gonna start congealing. I'm a very messy guy though. The other thing is the rule book. It really needs some work. It doesn't make a lot of sense. Things are like some very basic things are just not there. I don't know. Um, like I appreciate the fact that there's the confidence in the player to be like, yeah, just come up with whatever. But it's like this is a pretty big system here. We got to have some careful rules here, and so I'm happy. I hope that this video gets a wide reach so that we can like deploy the discussion board human calculators, the mentats on this that'll be like, I've released a PDF with revised rules, and like just some random person releases V1 point like version 1.3 of their own rules addendum. That's what we need. Like okay, so it says so normally I would just like go rules as written because that's what I learned playing Magic the Gathering. It's like exactly what it says, that's what it is. But I feel like I don't trust this as much because some of the words used are sort of they feel a little bit uh like they're not like they're sort of casual, I guess could be the way that I would think of it. Um and somebody cannot be good at every single part of game creation, despite what people think. You have to be good at marketing. You have to be good at drawing. You have to be good at all this stuff. But we got to help out Winslow. We can do this as a team. Um, well, let me just look for it here. Yeah, and then there's like a link that says there's expanded rules online. Not really. They're the same rules. They're a little easier to read, and there's 4 like errata on there, but you got to have something of how to set these decks. I mean, I think for me, when I am learning to play a game, I am like, for whatever reason, I'm like terrified. I feel terrified. I'm going through each step. I'm going, okay, okay, I did that because I'm not good at understanding instructions. I'm really not. I'm very lackadaisical about these kind of things. Like I just want to play. I want to make up my own stuff, but I do understand that card games are not like solo RPGs where you could just kind of wing it because there's a system here and it's fragile. So like counters can be used to track armor, spell uses, health, reroll counters, and other quantifiable card information or anything the players see fit. And then it says at the start of the game, the party gains 5 reroll counters. These can be used to reroll any die roll or act as currency. Um, More can be acquired by defeating targets, visiting with traders, or when playing a rest card. And here it says pay 1 counter and create a trader's inventory by drawing 2 loot and 2 treasure cards. The party can sell their items for reroll counters and trade the counters for the trader's items. So, I guess in my mind, this is saying these counters can be used for anything. But, like, for instance, these are my counters, but I don't have them right now because they're like the max health. They represent max health. But technically, I do. Uh, why do I have to trade up for these if like all of these counters are the same difference? You know what I'm saying? And so it's a little unclear. I kind of get it that it makes sense to me to say it's all one resource pool. If you want to buy something, you have to take, life. I mean, it doesn't really make sense, but I'm fine with that abstraction. Reroll tokens are way too valuable to me in my mind right now, but maybe that's a misunderstanding. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to bleed out. Um, Does he have a name? The Sleep Lord. Man, that name is so good. Okay. And then I'm gonna make the inventory of 2 loot and 2 treasure, and one of those loot will be a treasure card because we transferred it. And 2 treasure. So this should be good. The party can sell their items for reroll counters. So we have a Demdrek Subversa Carapace Shield. If you would take damage greater than 1, reduce it by 1. And that has a bonus for Stout. Rote Cipher. This has 10 counters. Any character may take counters from this and add 1 point to a roll for each taken. Wow. When this has no more counters, discard it. They may take counters from this and add 1 point to a roll. Wow, that's a really strong. It costs 2. I mean, that basically is 10 mini rerolls. Nah, that's not true. Uh, Cuniculum Tenebrae. Roll a die and deal damage equal to the roll. Okay. For 4. Yeah, see it right there. Like, which die? I know that it's like, is it the D20? Because that's massive. That is a massive weapon. And it seems that it would be the D20, but is it the D4? It's interesting. Man, think about this. I threw the Cuniculum Tenebrae at something. A 20. I just beat like the boss. Wow. All right. I don't know. I'd probably pull out a D8 for that or something. I don't know how I deal with that. Dandelionian Dreamboat. You know what? I would no matter what die I pick, I'm going to roll a 1. I just know it. Dandelionian Dreambow. Perform a ranged roll. This is a ranged weapon. A ranged roll for 2 damage, and then repeat for each rest card the party has played. Wow. That's 5. I definitely want that. I wonder if I could like wheel and deal here. So I take one of these counters and I'm going to give the Halo 2 health. So it's back up to regular or starting. And then I'm going to sell the dog shanks for 3 plus the 2 counters that are on it. So that gives me 5. And I'm going to do your dad Alonius is a dreamboat because the melee weapon primitive spear, it says add +1 to your ranged rolls while using this weapon. So that's huge. Or is it huge? I don't know. Right now it seems that way. But now we have Halo. It's just kind of Halo needs like a some magic. And this has good synergy because he has a thing with like playing rest cards. When a food card is drawn, heal the party. Okay. I still don't really understand this. Your consumables are considered spells while in your inventory. What could that possibly mean? I guess it does kind of make mild sense, like the fact that the trackers can be used for that. I mean, it makes sense within whatever logic is being built here because it's like when you have armor, you're still using counters and you're taking from those counters and that represents your armor. So it really is just kind of like yeah, just use it for everything. I could see if I want to see how it feels once I get like used to that. If I feel cuz it doesn't make sense, right? It's not like if I'm at like Nathan's Coney Island and I'm like, "Yeah, let me get a chili cheese dog." And they're like, "Yeah, you want onion?" "Yeah." "All right, it'll be 7.25." And I just start pulling my hair off and like nails and twist off one of my toes or whatever, or just give them like plate mail, they would take it at Nathan's for sure. They'd be like, "Yeah, I'm gonna need your pauldrons and that other one that nobody knows, a gherkin." Yeah, I don't know, man. Reroll counters may be used as currency, with each being worth 1 value, either to cover shortfalls or as payment from selling items. So all So all I do is trade items. Items may be sold to the trader without paying to view the inventory. Overpayment is refunded in reroll tokens. Okay, so these are the currency, right? I guess my question is like, at the point in which it becomes this ambiguous, why not just like give coins, you know? Why not just make a money stat? That's a serious question though, because there may be something that we're trying to get at here that I'm not seeing the bigger picture of it. But to me, it's like just make just a couple coins. Hmm. All right, so there's definitely an advantage of the rules on the website that I can search them. And I think I figured it out here. So I didn't realize this, that you can use per turn 1 consumable and that like takes up your turn. So when I was using whatever that was, the loathsome dingleberry, that would have been like my turn because that's, I believe that that was consumable. And then no, that was an active, so that you could do as many of the actives you want. But this one consumable, if I use that, it was 1 per turn. And I didn't realize this because it's quite faint, but in the background there, that means you can only use it at a rest site, which I used it at a trader, which technically I shouldn't have, but I did, and I'm not going back because oh, I don't remember it. um, and so the answer to this is like if the consumables are spells, you can use them even like you can use them, I guess, multiple times, but like you'd still be subject to whatever limits it has. I really want this rote cipher, but I just don't know what I have. I'm going to use these two. I'm going to get rid of these. I know that's but I'll pay the price. I'll pay the price. Because rerolls, nah, don't need them anymore. Because as I said earlier, this is 10 mini rerolls. The hell was I talking about? All right, that works for me. All right, this is the last one. The last one here has to be combat. If it's not combat, I'd have to pull another one until we get combat. Oh boy, that's combat. This man has abs. He has boobabs. Every time this card damages a character, remove one treasure. Oh, cool! Look at this. The drops. So if I can waste this guy in one hit, which I could have done if I got the Tanuki suit or whatever and thrown the little. I Nah, I'm too afraid. Gosh, that's amazing. Roll a die and deal damage. I mean, hell. You didn't say I couldn't, Winslow. You didn't say I couldn't. I hit him for 47. Technically, it says a die. All right. Wow, this guy is a real beefarino. 16. Let's see what we got on him. So this is nice though. Sleep Lord has perform a ranged roll for 2 damage and then repeat for each Dang, I should have rested. Shoot. Ah, man, wait, can't I even rest? Ruining the game. Okay, I actually am going to expend a rest, and it's not just because I'm cheating. I mean, that is happening. But here's the thing. You could use a rest after a successful combat or at a non-combat site. So I would have been able to use it here or here. That's one of the things that can get you jammed up because if you flee from combat, say that you're like on the brink of death, you can't rest until you successfully win a combat or get to a non-rest site. And from the gameplay I saw, this feels rare. Like this feels like 2 non-combat things. I think that would probably be unusual. But you then can use a rest card. So we would get to do a lot of things at rest. You gain 3 reroll encounters. Um, and you can use those for 2 health. Um, and then the next encounter loot or treasure could be a pick from 2. So we'll just say that I use this one to justify the fact that I gave I'm calling it a lamb shank. I don't believe that that's a dog shank. And the thing I also like is that if you're playing with a group, or I assume solo, when you rest, a new player character can join if one died. So for me, that's kind of exciting. Like, if one of these guys dies, if I make it to a rest site in one of the realms, I can have another PC join the party. The idea would be I just need to make sure that one person is still alive. The Vainglorious Bastard Champion. Let's get killed. So we have a range attack for 2 damage, and then I get to repeat that. And damn, I wish I was dexterous. I almost picked a dexterous person. And then we get +1 to my range rolls while using this. And then I got my mini rerolls. And if this be damage, okay, so let's. All right, so 6 + 1, not close. Oh, I get to roll again. Oh, but they don't hit me because it's ranged. Oh, it was almost a good roll. Okay, so nothing happens there, and then this guy's running to Vito Supremo here with a like a stick that a kid finds, and it's like, look, I found a big stick. And their dad's like, oh, cool, man. That's a 5. All right, so he definitely gets hit. Unless I were to use 7 of these counters right now. So he gets hit for 3. Dang. That's tough. Okay. Well, what are you going to do? This guy's huge. Please hold. I rolled that off the table. I'm not even getting it here. Oh my. I think Halo's dead. Well, let's just resolve everything. Everyone calm down. So here I hit, and that is for a 2 plus 1, so they go down to 13. And I get to roll again. 19. So another one. Everyone just remain very calm. It would actually be 12 because it's a plus 1 to the actual dice roll, not to the damage. But okay, so Halo is dead. On death, all targets with chain. Wait a minute. Wait a damn minute. I can use this. I could use the whole card. This has 10 counters. Any character may take counters from this card and add 1 point to a roll for each taken. When this has no more counters, discarded. That would turn this into a 12. I hit him. And because that damaged the target for 2, it also gives a plus 1 to the Sleep Lord, who comes through again with the big hit. So that's another 2. See, this is what I do. I break them down. I break my enemies down. I'm supposed to follow with a dodge roll. Damn it. All right, I'll start doing that from now on. 19. So we dodge. 19. This guy's amazing. And I dodge. Got hit. That's okay. So hits him again. And so he has a 5 plus 1 is 6 plus 1 is 7. I have no counters left or anything like that. And then next round, I might use this primitive spear here. So this, see, like, what's going on here? So Sleep Lord has 7 health. Where's the other one? Okay. So now we got... I don't think the Ominist has done a single damn thing. I should just run away. Okay. Come on. Come on. These are... Every time this card damages a character, remove 1 treasure. So basically this had 4, and I think, what was it? It's been damaged twice so far. I wish there was a crit. All right, this could be it right here. You may use this as a melee or ranged weapon. For melee, attack with a combat roll. For range, perform a range roll for 3 damage. Because he goes down to 4. Follow with a dodge roll, and then add this to the target's drops. No, I can't do it because it would only bring him down to 1, and I've got to keep this plus 1 bonus here. So I'm going to do 2 Dadalonian Dreamboats. Oh, oh. Another 20, and yet no crit. And I searched the document. So we do that. We roll a dodge. 15, we did it. And then roll another hit. 17, got him. Got him. Got him. And that's 2 treasures. Every time a character increases their max health, heal all characters by 1. And then Cracked Star Seal, heal all characters 1 point for every treasure held by the party. Well, You know what? Um this was planned the whole time because uh I think that this game it needs a little tuning fork on it, but um I should slap myself in the face for everything that I said that needs any change because um this game is better than my whole life. I will never like not even I'm not even saying I will never do something this awesome. I'm saying if you add together everything I've ever done plus everything I will do, it is not even half of how amazing this is. So I don't know why Daniel from the Dungeon Dive gets to give a gold. Like, when did, I didn't, the Golden Torch? How do you get registered to give an award or whatever? It doesn't even matter because Golden Torch, I'm giving this game, it's better than a Golden Torch. I'm giving the Platinum Flamethrower for achievement in the arts. I just think that to create something by yourself over a period of 5 years, for every piece of it to contain a piece of yourself, to show all sides of your creativity, the sides that are bizarre, the sides that are like exquisite and genius, and then even in some ways, which this I think is a true mark of um, a type of brilliance, is showing even some of your ugliness as part of your work, whether that's like the stuff on here that's disturbing or the pictures that like aren't the best work, like aren't the best, images created, but it's like, yeah, but it's the best I did. It's the best I could do. And that is when you look at a project and you see that there's like the totality of that is is completely inspiring. I'm totally inspired by this. I hope that those watching this are inspired by it too. Um, it's a reminder that uh, there's lots of things you could be doing with your time, especially if you're somebody who struggles to follow through on creative projects. There's a lot of things you could be doing with your time, but your best bet is to just do something and keep going because this is what that yields, this kind of experience. And I just want to close by saying technically I could have rolled a D100 on that.